The brand new Pixel 4 was just released by Google after months and months of leaks and hype surrounding this phone, but with good reason. So this phone, although it didn't come out with many new surprises, did have some amazing features and some really impressive specs. But what is this phone actually like to use? In this video, I will demonstrate and test out the different features of this phone, as well as share with you a critical flaw that I found that other reviews are not mentioning. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike O'Brien, and this video is all about the Google Pixel 4, which I have right here. Now, to be clear, this is the Google Pixel 4 and not the 4 XL. There are two different models, some subtle differences that I'll mention throughout the video, but for the most part, I'm going to dive in and see what this phone is like to use. Now, I want to start off with highlighting a few of the main features about this, and then I'll get into a tour showing you what it looks like. Now, some of the really key features that make this phone unique, the first one, as you probably heard from many places, is the radar. So it has a radar chip in the top bezel right there, which you see is obviously a little chunkier than a lot of flagship phones, but we're going to test it out and see if that's actually worth it. Secondly, this has a better voice assistant and some other adjacent features to that. So this has some local voice assistant actually, which means that if you have slow internet or even if your internet is fast, this should be acting much quicker than a traditional Android phone that has the Google Assistant. So there are many other features, including the cameras, or cameras plural now, as opposed to the previous Google Pixel, which only had one camera. Now we have two cameras you can take pictures with, and I'll talk about those and test those out. But that's essentially the biggest highlights about this phone. Now, let's get into a mechanical tour. There are three different colors. I have the Oh-So Orange right here. It's kind of a strange color of orange, though, almost a little bit of red in there as well. And so you'll see it's all matte on the back. There's also a black one and a white version of this. You'll see on the edges all the way around, it's a nice black matte there. And then the power button is kind of a light orange. So looking at the side of this device, you have your power button, which if you double press it, you can open the camera or you can open up Snapchat. So one cool feature there. Then you have your volume buttons below that. Then across the top, you have just a microphone there. The left side has a SIM tray. Then on the bottom, you have your USB-C in the middle, which is capable of fast charging. And I believe it's 17 watts is the charger that it comes with. Then you have two speakers, so one on either side there. So looking at the front, you'll see the screen right here is relatively small compared to the body for a flagship phone. And so, if you look at the Samsung Galaxy series, they're all, much bigger screens, much smaller bezels all around. But they have some other stuff packed into the top of the bezel here. So in the top, you have a radar chip in there. You also, of course, have your selfie camera, so no notches, no cutouts. And then you have, a larger speaker on the top and a few other things up there that help with Face ID. So the display on this phone is a 5.7-inch OLED screen with 90 Hertz refresh rate, which is very impressive. And you can also turn it down to 60 to save battery, or you can have it so that it's always on 90 if you dive into, some deeper options to change that. One thing that's kind of a shortcoming though is they didn't take the time to upgrade this, or maybe spend the money to upgrade this to a 4K screen. It's only 1080p, which I think is a bit of a drawback for a flagship phone like this one. Now, if you upgrade to the XL, you do get a 4K screen. Something I didn't mention about the bezels is actually that, of course, just like every Google Pixel, you can squeeze them and summon Google's Assistant. So then the back, I didn't forget about that. I think it looks really, really nice, a really simple design where they just have the Google G on the bottom, and it's a really nice texture as well. It's not too smooth, it's definitely not rough, and it feels really nice. Then on the top, we have a very familiar little camera block there where you have three cameras, but you can only actually take pictures with two of them. So that's something we see in a lot of phones. The other one's just a sensor. And so the two lenses, one of them is a regular lens, just a wide angle, and the other one is a 2x telephoto lens. So while we're up top looking at the camera block, I have to point out a very important flaw, and maybe you already saw this, but there's a lot of paint missing on my camera block. And that was like that when I opened the box. So I don't know if maybe this just, somehow the quality checks, they missed it at Google. I think Google would be better about this. Maybe it happened during shipping, I don't know. But for some reason, there is paint missing on the top, which makes me think two things. One, this might happen on other phones as well. And two, if that happened on this phone in just shipping or just assembly, what's going to happen when this phone is in my pocket for an entire year? So I imagine that there is going to be a problem where paint is wearing off all around the camera block right there. Maybe that doesn't bother everybody, but honestly, I think for a flagship phone, that's not something I really want to look at. So to give you an idea of the screen quality and the volume, I have the screen brightness all the way up, and as you can see, I have the volume all the way up there as well, and we're going to play a short little clip here. This phone is also IP68 waterproof. Overall, has a really nice weight to it, a nice size. I really like the not XL size. I think this is a good size for a phone where you can hold it up to your ear really well. It fits in your pocket. It fits in your hand really well. So guys, a quick little aside here. I can only cover so much about this phone in one video, so I will be doing an entire camera test in a separate video. If you want to see that, make sure you go down and click the subscribe button and the bell icon so you know when that comes out. So talking about some of the internal components of this has Snapdragon 855, but not 855 Plus, so not the newest one. This one, the base model that I bought, is 64 gigabytes, but you can only actually use 45 of those gigabytes. It tells you that when you first sign in. It says you can transfer up to 45 gigabytes of files or whatever. It has a 2800 milliamp hour battery, which I did do some testing on that, and it doesn't really impress me that much. So at about 1:40 today, I had 41%, and then at 4:40, so just 3 hours later, I was all the way down to 18%, just under standard use for this phone. So you can do the math and see how long the phone would actually last, but it's not gonna last more than a day. So as I said before, this comes with an 18-watt fast charger. It also has wireless charging on the back, but not reverse wireless charging. So if you have like earbuds or something you want to charge, you can't do that with this phone. It also does not have a fingerprint sensor, as you probably already noticed, but the Face ID on here should be really good because of the radar chip. So the way it works is the radar is on all the time, and as soon as you reach your hand close to the phone, it fires up the cameras and the Face ID, and when you pick it up, it signs in almost instantly and you're on your phone. So I really like how fast that is. Some people miss the fingerprint sensor. I think it's kind of nice just to have it, you don't even know you're signing in, which does have a little bit of a security issue with that, where this signs in nonstop. You look at it, it signs in, or you don't even look at it. If you are asleep and somebody holds it up to your face, it signs in. So the Face ID seems great. I don't know if I will definitely be using it. I might just use a pin just to be a little bit safer on this phone. But comment down below what you guys think of that. Is that something that you don't really care about? Because technically somebody could use your fingerprint when you're asleep as well. I mean, hopefully you would feel it, but I don't know. Is that really a big issue for you? Comment down below. So looking at what comes in the box, pretty standard for a Pixel. You have your USB-C to USB-C cable. You have your charging block, which is 18 watts, so a fast charging block right there. You have your little transfer adapter, USB-C on one side, USB-A on the other, to easily transfer your files from another phone. And that's basically all they give you. They don't give you earbuds. They don't give you any kind of earbuds adapter. So you're kind of on your own to either buy an adapter or to go out and get some Bluetooth headphones. So some small drawbacks here. This does not have dual SIM, and it also does not have expandable storage. So if you want to have more storage than it comes with, you have to pay for, storing it on OneDrive or Google or whatever service you want, or you could just upgrade and buy a more expensive Pixel. So looking at the software, like I just said, the Face ID is something that is really nice. Now you can also use the radar for a couple other things. So one of them is anytime you're listening to music. So, if you have Spotify playing, you can swipe back and forth and go forward or back a song. But it's not just Spotify, you can actually do that with other things as well. So if you have, if you're playing on YouTube, for example, just a YouTube video, you can swipe back and forth and it works with that. I don't really see the purpose for this situation for using the swipey thing. So it's not really that consistent. If I swipe, maybe I get it 50% of the time. Of course, I'll probably get better at it as I use it more, but doing this to me is just as easy as doing this. I don't really see that extra 4 inches. I don't think it's really saving me, that much effort. Now, there are other things that the radar does really well. Like I said, if you're reaching for your phone, it fires up the camera and signs in quicker. Also in the morning, if you want to silence your alarm as you reach for it, it quiets your alarm down. And then you can also swipe away and just turn your alarm off or snooze it. Also, if I'm really worried about being efficient, why wouldn't I just use the voice assistant to skip a song? So besides the radar, besides the Face ID, and besides Android 10, those are 3 great software features of this phone. Really the meat and potatoes on this one, really the best feature about this phone is going to be the integration with Google's voice assistant. That's really where it becomes powerful. And so there are several different features you have with that, especially on this phone. One of them is a lot of the voice assistant is local, so not all of it, but if you have slower internet, it will be faster because it's saving stuff locally. It should be more accurate as well. And so you can also do some things like basic translations offline, or you can do some voice memos offline. And so voice memo is another new thing. So I love taking voice memos, but the most annoying thing by far is going through and finding the information and figuring out, what you said in what part of what voice memo. And so what they do here, which is really cool, is they actually transcribe it real time, and it's actually doing that right now. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, which everyone gets very, very excited about, is the cameras on the Google Pixel 4 right here. So, of course, the Pixel 3 was one of the best cameras ever on a smartphone, and so they upped their game here. Now, there are two cameras now, like I said before. One kind of shortcoming that upsets a lot of people is that the second one is not ultra-wide, it's a telephoto one. Okay, so this is the front-facing camera right now. It's 8 megapixels, and it does not shoot 4K, it's only 1080. But then on the back side, where we have two cameras, one of them is 12 megapixels for the regular wide angle, and then the 2x zoom is 16 megapixels. Both of those can shoot in 4K. So then here's some pictures that I took with this camera. The first one is 1x zoom, and then we're gonna compare that to the Galaxy S10 picture at 1x zoom, just for reference. Then next we have 2x zoom on here, which is optical, and then if you keep zooming, it's digital zoom all the way up to 8x. Okay, so now I wanna take a picture in night mode, and as you can see right here in the video, this is clearly very dark in here. So in night mode, you'll see that it actually works really well. So then astrophotography, as you can see here, is absolutely an amazing feature on this phone. There was a lot of light pollution out, so there were really not many stars, but the phone actually saw it better than I did. And so this would actually do it even better than most DSLR cameras because it's able to take 16 different pictures and layer them together. Now, testing it out, I will say the zoom is relatively seamless. As you zoom in, you pinch to zoom, and you don't really notice where it goes from the wide angle to the telephoto lens. It really just is a nice seamless zoom right there. You go all the way up to 8x, and as they said in the event, it's actually better if you zoom in to take a picture rather than taking a picture and then cropping it. There's not a ton of options you can do with this, so pretty much everything is almost like dumbed down, so it takes great pictures, takes really good videos, but you don't really have a choice. It's just gonna do whatever it does. You don't have any kind of pro mode, you don't have anything where you can change a lot about the videos or stabilize it or anything like that. Okay, so there's a lot of specs to cover with this phone, but who would this phone actually be for? I think there's two groups of people that would really like this phone and one group that would not like this phone as much. So the first group that would definitely like this phone would be anybody who is a Pixel super fan. If you like the Pixel 3 or the 3A, you'll definitely like this phone. It's obviously an upgrade in a lot of different ways, and you know, it does a really good job of being a Pixel. So the other group that I think would really like this would be your everyday person that doesn't really care about their phone. They're not gonna go around and show everyone the specs and talk about, oh, my phone can charge my earbuds and my phone can do this. It's just the person that wants a phone that's a very powerful tool and a powerful assistant to their life. So this phone is really good at being an assistant. It's really good at, you know, the interface on here. You're gonna be the first to get the newest Androids, and Android's kind of been leaning towards simplifying your life, getting notifications out of the way, a lot more digital well-being type stuff. Also, you don't have a lot of distractions on this phone. It's just, you have a camera that works really well. You're not gonna spend time messing around with it. And it's really good at taking, you know, voice memo notes and stuff like that. So it's a really powerful tool as an assistant, not so much as a fun novelty toy phone. Now that's the group that I think would not like it, would be the real tech geeks that just love new phones. They love talking about the different specs of it. They love things like, you know, a lot of the Samsung or the Apple fans that just love everything about their new phones. They're not gonna really be liking this phone because it kind of comes short on a lot of those big flagship, you know, features. So guys, that's what I think about the Google Pixel 4. It's a great phone. It's not the best phone out there, but it's the best at what it's supposed to do, in my opinion. So comment down below what you guys think of this. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.